Zoran Mamdani's victory in the New York mayoral election earlier this week signals the rise of a dark force in American politics, one that the mainstream media blatantly refuses to report on. Mamdani isn't just another token young minority Democrat that has been promoted through the ranks to one of the most important offices in the United States. No, he is the product of an ideology which threatens the very existence of America as we know it. Stay tuned, because what you are about to see is bound to shock even the most seasoned observers of American political trends. The story I'm about to tell is about the rise of an ideology that has the potential to radically change America. The ideology followed by Mamdani, the same ideology that is held by the African National Congress or ANC in South Africa and their most radical proponents. One of the most closely watched municipal contests in recent US history, New York City's 2025 mayoral election, which was held earlier this week, has delivered a result that reverberates far beyond the 5 boroughs. The victory of Zoran Kwame Mamdani, a 33-year-old South African educated democratic socialist of Ugandan Indian descent, means that the Big Apple will now, for the very first time, not only have a millennial in office, but also just over 2 decades after the 9/11 attacks, a practicing Muslim. This follows after Mamdani comprehensively beat Andrew Cuomo and Curtin Silva, gathering over 50% of the vote to be crowned the new mayor of America's largest city. And what makes this victory so significant is that the New York mayoralty, often described as the second most powerful office in the United States, has long served as a testing ground for national trends. This young Democrats' ascent therefore represents more than a local upset. It embodies a broader debate about the future of urban democracy, class politics, and representation in the 21st century in America. But here is the scary part. The ideology that he brings to the table and to the mayoral office is not just one that is completely foreign to America and their values and identity. It is the very ideology driving the persecution of whites in South Africa. Stay tuned, because in today's video we will expose how the new mayor of America's largest city is inspired by the very ideology behind the calls to genocide white farmers in South Africa. The origins of the Mamdani family lie in British colonial India, where Zoran Mamdani's father, Mahmud, was born in 1946. The family moved from their home in Bombay, which is now known as Mumbai, to Uganda of all places, where Mahmud spent much of his childhood. When he became politically active as a university student in his 20s, he was exiled by the then dictator Idi Amin. He consequently fled to the United States, where he earned his PhD at Harvard University in 1974. It was at Harvard that he met his future wife and Zoran's mother, Mira Nair, an Indian filmmaker. After graduating, Mahmud returned to Africa, spending many years in universities in Kenya and Tanzania, but also published extensively. And a few years after the fall of Idi Amin, he finally returned to Uganda in the late 80s, where he taught at Makerere University in the city of Kampala. And this is where Zoran would be born in 1991. Shortly after the ANC's takeover of South Africa in 1994, however, when Zoran was still a toddler, his father accepted the position of Herbert J. Kelman Professor at the University of Cape Town, and also became the director of the Center for African Studies at this institution. His arrival was part of the post-apartheid drive to strategically transform South Africa's public universities into propaganda machines for anti-colonialist and Marxist ideologies. And it was precisely here where the rubber hit the road, where Mahmud Mamdani actually came into conflict with his liberal colleagues at the university, because at the time he was viewed as too radical for the University of Cape Town. University management at the time felt that his courses too heavily leaned upon the French Caribbean Marxist philosopher Frantz Fanon, one of the earliest proponents of critical theory. Following the dispute and the souring of relations with university management, the family moved to New York City, where Mahmoud accepted a position at Columbia University, where he still teaches to this day. Now I ask you, for my American viewers, how interesting is this? That a man viewed too radical for ANC-controlled South Africa would get a job at a university, a prestigious American university like Columbia. Zouran was 8 years old when the family moved to New York and completed his first few years of elementary school in Cape Town in South Africa. After graduating from the Bronx High School of Science, he enrolled for a degree in African Studies at Bowdoin College in the city of Brunswick. Here he graduated, class of 2014, with a senior thesis focusing on none other than the very man who had a lifelong inspiration of his father, Frantz Fanon. And why is this so significant? Well, Frantz Fanon is the single most influential Marxist philosopher who has shaped the political philosophy of the economic freedom fighters. He was the father of the so-called Black Marxism, or racial Marxism, which sort of replaces the idea of the working class or proletariat with black people. So black people are those that are oppressed in his ideology and must be uplifted while pulling the rest down. The party of Julius Malema, who earlier this year had been exposed in the White House for chanting for calls for the genocide of white people, is exactly the party founded on the principles of Fanon in South Africa. Take a look at this.
Shoot to kill the mother, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. Attention.
Malema and the EFF openly identify as adherents of Fanonism, and this kill the Boer ideology is not some distorted interpretation of Fanon either. In his famous anti-colonial work entitled Wretched of the Earth, Fanon wrote a chapter which he entitled On Violence, and in it he states the following: "The natives' work is to imagine all possible methods for destroying the settler. The appearance of the settler has meant, in terms of the syncretism, the death of the Aboriginal society, cultural lethargy, and the petrification of individuals. For the native, life can only spring up again out of the rotting corpse of the settler." This is the theoretical underpinning of the genocide being advocated by Malema and the EFF that we saw playing in the White House earlier this year, and this is the very same political ideology that the new mayor of New York, Zouran Mamdani, is now bringing to this city. America and the West must heed this warning before it's too late. The genocidal ideology that has been so characteristic of the radical left in South Africa's political landscape over the past 2 decades, the very ideology behind the drive to expropriate private property and systematically slaughter white farmers, is not by any means limited to South Africa or even Zimbabwe or even the African continent. It is being exported to America, and it has clearly already infiltrated the Democrat Party of the United States. That a radical Marxist coming from a family whose intellectual roots lie in the most genocidal forms of communism now holds the highest office in America's largest city is not just alarming. It is a sign that the system is already failing and being used against American citizens. The same genocidal ideology that has led to the systematic slaughter of Afrikaners here in South Africa now holds political power in the United States of America. And the same threat applies to Europe. In a recent video, we highlighted how an ANC member could potentially unseat the Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, in the next election. Click on this link to check out our full report. And remember to become a member of the Willem Petseg Group. Only with your support can we continue to do the work that we are doing, aiming at changing the hearts and minds of our people. Just follow the simple steps on the banner at the bottom of your screen. Goodbye and God bless.